Quick trade recap. I took one trade today. It was a short on NQ. It was an L. It was a loss. So yeah, the like 2.5 or 3 week green streak has come to an end, unfortunately. But yeah, not a big deal. Managed my risk very well. But yeah, let's get into that. So going into today, I was actually bullish, and I recognize that the higher time frames are extremely bullish. Now, why do I say that higher time frames are bullish? Because like I said, with these last previous like three recaps I've made, the market has swept out sell side on the bigger time frame. We're coming from these bigger time frame weekly and daily imbalances. The market is displacing higher. Trading through these levels, trading through bearish imbalances. It's very obvious that this is the draw on liquidity, and as you can see, that's where we're going right now. And then also at market open, we are working out of this bullish 4 hour imbalance, which is also adding to my bullish bias on the bigger time frame. However, the reason that I took a short today is because personally, I have seen the model that I traded today play out many, many, many times, particularly on Fridays. I believe ICT coded the model, and it's called TGIF setup. And it's basically where you have either an expansive week or an expansive previous couple of days in the market. And on Fridays, you look to see a rebalance to that price leg. So the price leg that I was looking at this morning was this low to this high, and I was looking to see a rebalance to potentially come to equilibrium. And what I was really liking is this 15-minute intermediate low that was right below equilibrium. It is also an untapped 4 hour fair value gap, and it is an untapped 1 hour fair value gap. So here's the 1 hour, and there's the 4 hour there. And we also had this internal buy side liquidity sweep going into market open, and I was looking at the reaction to this. I see the market start to displace lower. We have a change in the state. We have inversion for value gaps here, and I was essentially just looking to see that move lower that I've seen, like I said, multiple times on Fridays particularly. So I actually end up taking my short like after sell side gets swept, which might seem crazy, and I mean obviously it does not end up playing out, but that's I'll explain that in a second once we get to that. But basically my thought process was at market open, we are rejecting this 15-minute for value gap. Market is starting to displace lower. We get a 15-minute change in the state delivery. Yes, we end up sweeping this internal sell side level, but like I said, we have not come to equilibrium at this price leg, and I really liked the way this 15-minute intermediate low looked. We're also, like you said, like I said, working out of this 4 hour bearish imbalance with internal manipulation here. Um, and then NQ ends up opening up a bearish 3-minute imbalance right here, as you can see, and we end up sweeping out sell side. And from at this point in time, I'm looking for a rebalance to this 3-minute to potentially look to take a short. So as you can see, we put in a low, market starts to chop around. We end up chopping around for like a decent amount of time. Like once the low gets taken, what is it, 8:45 to, okay, it's not that long. It was like 7 minutes, but yeah, a lot of chop. But what we end up doing here, and it looks a lot better on the 30-second, is we are generating internal low resistance sell side liquidity here. So notice, I mean, this is like a classic trend line. I mean, obviously we don't trade that crap, but that is what this is. But obviously we know this is not support for the market. This is sell side liquidity. The market loves to, run these low resistance liquidity runs. So that is kind of what I was looking for. And as far as the entry model itself, like I said, I had this 3-minute marked out. There was no 5-minute, so obviously I didn't have the 5-minute marked out because it didn't exist, but I did have this 3-minute for my higher time frame key level. And then on, like I said, okay, where the heck are we? Okay, so on this rebalance, like I said, we're generating all this low resistance sell side. We tap the 3-minute, and then we also tap equilibrium of this internal bearish price leg here. Market comes up, we tap equilibrium, and then what am I waiting for? I'm waiting to see what is the reaction of this price leg. We get this really clean 30-second inverse that I've got marked out here, and I end up taking my short here once this candle closes. Like I think I like slapped it on the rebalance to this 30-second bearish imbalance, also the rebalance to the inverse. And I was looking to just see like, okay, so basically my thought process here is like I said, I've seen this trade play out. Okay, where's that low? I've seen this trade play out many, many times where we will go to this internal low here. And I was looking to go break even. Like once I saw that inverse, I saw, okay, it makes sense that we should get a move lower here to run all of these internal lows. And then at that point in time, I recognize that the higher time frames are bullish. So once this low gets taken, if the market wants to use this little internal sell model here as internal manipulation to sweep this low and then go higher, which means this would act as turtle soup, then that's fine. My stop is now at break even, and it would be a break even trade. If, however, we do end up getting, like what I'm saying right now, I'm talking through my thought process when I took this short. So I said, if, however, we do end up getting that TGIF setup and we sell all the way off to this sell side level, this intermediate low, which is also the untapped 4 hour, then I will be taking advantage of that move lower. But I was really expecting to see this internal low get taken. Now, obviously, that does not end up happening, and the market just stops me out. And now we're trading higher. Now, why are we trading higher? Because the higher time frames are bullish. Why are that higher time frames bullish? Because we've set sell side. We're coming out of the weekly imbalances. We're displacing higher, and this is very obviously the draw on liquidity. This is also a daily intermediate high, as you can see, high inside of the daily bearish imbalance. So we are bullish and we are trading up. Oh yeah, another thing that added to my bearish bias today was that we were holding CE of this daily wick. So notice this daily wick comes from the comes from this daily bearish imbalance. This is 50% of the wick, and at market open, this highest move up on this day on NQ had like pretty much perfectly respected consequent encroachment of the daily bearish candle wick. So we were holding CE of the higher time frame wick. We had this internal manipulation. We had the 15-minute change in state. We had the inversion for value gaps. We had equilibrium of this price leg below the target, and we had the intermediate low inside of equilibrium. Like I said, I was just looking to see that move lower, and then the 30-second, this internal model is what really I really liked the way this looks with all of this internal low resistance sell side 30-second inverse equilibrium of this price leg gets tapped, and yeah, obviously trade ends up losing, and yeah, I take a loss, but now obviously my loss is very, very small compared to the win I took yesterday. But I am just looking to just collect those remaining 4 required winning days to take the payout on these accounts, because that's kind of how I trade these accounts. I just look to take I look to size heavy on 1 or 2 trades that are like really clean, and then once I get the initial balance up, then I look to just collect the rest of the required winning days, taking small setups, taking like I took 3 micros today, so I look to just take small wins to get the required 250 or 150, whatever it is, and then I just take the payout once I reach the 5 winning days. But anyways, what I want to kind of go over today in more depth is like the importance of like just being able to just take a loss and have that be the end of the story, right? Like so many times I would like back in the day, I would like take a loss and I would just end up revenge trading and over leveraging and trying to make that money back, and then just end up completely blowing the account. And beautiful market maker bot model, by the way. Just a quick side note. Buy side of the curve here, generating buy side liquidity, selling off into a key level, sweeping internal sell side, displacement back inside the range, pull back to the fair value gap, buy side of the curve. Right here. Beautiful market maker bottom. But yeah, anyways, so back in the day, like I said, I would always like revenge trade. I would just over leverage every single time I took a loss. I physically could not end the day red, and I would just stayed stuck in the same exact cycle for a very long time, and that is something that you should not do. But like I said, you just need to be able to take a loss, accept the loss, learn from it, and move on. And like, cause like think about it, like what is trading? Like when you really dumb it down and you think about like what is trading? It is having an edge over the market, right? So does having an edge over the market mean that you are going to win every single trade that you take? No, it means that you have an edge over the market. It means that if you actually have a winning strategy, you understand the strategy, then you can win more. You can win more trades than you lose, and if you have good risk management, then you're guaranteed to make money in the long run. So, with that being the case, like for me personally, like in the past like 4 months approximately, I've had a very good win rate. Like in the live market, I've had over a 75% win rate in the live market over the past 4 months. It's around like a 77 to a 79% win rate. So with that being said, mathematically, statistically, if I take 10 trades that follow that plan, that follow the model that I trade, that I know works because of backtesting, if I take 10 trades, at least 2 of those have to be losers, right? Because I mean, that's how math works. If I have an 80% win rate and I take 10 trades, 2 of those trades have to be losers, at least 2 of them, maybe more. So as long as every single trade that I take fits within the criteria of that model, of that strategy that I trade, that is all I care about. Like you need to learn to you need to shift your mindset, like reprogram your brain to start viewing good and bad days based off of whether or not you did what you're supposed to do and you followed your plan, not on P&L. I don't care, like I said, because what is trading? Trading is a game of statistics. It's a game of probability. You're not going to win every single trade, but if you have a winning strategy, you know that it works, and you manage your risk, and you only take trades that fit within that strategy, you will absolutely be profitable in the long run. So like I said, as long as every single trade that I take follows that plan, as long as I have a valid setup, a valid draw on liquidity, a valid higher time frame key level, a valid entry point being the inverse for buy gap, we're coming off of equilibrium. As long as like the criteria is there and the strategy is there, the setup is there, I take it and I manage my risk. I don't care whether I win or lose that trade because I know that if I simply stick with that strategy in the long run, I will be profitable because it has a proven win rate. Like I said, I've over the past few months, I've had like almost an 80% win rate, and on average, I probably have more like a 70% win rate. But these last few months have been really good. But so let's just say I take 10 trades, three of those have to be losers, right? So as long like I'm not viewing this as like I'm not viewing today's loss as like, oh my gosh, I suck, I took a loss, I ended my 3 week green streak. What do I do? I need a long here, I need a short here, I need to try to make that money back. Like I don't care. As long as I'm sticking to the plan that I have made for myself that I know is profitable because I've proven that it's profitable, then I know that I will take more trades, I will outweigh this loss with more wins, and I will stick to the strategy that has a 70% win rate. And like I said, as long as every single trade that I take fits within that criteria, I will be profitable in the long run. So I'm not viewing this as like a detrimental loss. I suck. I'm terrible. I need to find a new strategy. I'm viewing this as part of the statistic. This is one of the three trades that has to be losers when I take 10 trades, right? If I like I said, if I have a 70% win rate, and with this strategy that I trade, which I do, it's over 70%. If I take 10 trades, three of those have to be losers. Does this fit that criteria? Yes, it has all the required things. It has a valid drawn liquidity. We've got the key level being equilibrium. We've got the 3 minute imbalance rejecting price. And then we've got the 30-second inverse. And then the higher time frame narrative is the fact that I want to see this intermediate low get taken. So the strategy is there, the model is there, but it simply doesn't play out. So this trade is one of the 3 out of 10 that have to be losers. So I could not care less about this number so long. Now don't take that the wrong way. So long as I manage my risk, this number does not matter to me. Now if I start over leveraging, then yeah, this number's certainly going to matter because I'm going to end up freaking blowing the account. But as long as you manage your risk and you take that loss, if the loss fits your criteria of a winning strategy, if it follows your plan that you know is profitable, this number does not matter because it's simply, well, what do I say? Trading is a game of statistics. You're not going to win every single trade. But when you get just so emotionally attached to each and every individual trade and the outcome of every single day, and you cannot end the day red like I used to be, like you're gonna get cooked. Like I don't really know what else to say. Like the market's gonna take every dollar from your bank account because you're just gonna continue to blow these accounts because you're gonna chase those losses. You're gonna revenge trade. You're gonna over leverage, and you're just gonna be stuck in a cycle that you're not gonna get out of. And like take it from someone who's been there. Like I was there for over a year. Like I've understood. Like dude, I've been good at trading. I've been good at the skill of trading for well over a year, probably a year and a half, maybe like a little over a year and a half. I've been very good at the skill of trading. I've understood the strategy. I've understood how to identify market maker buy models, market maker sell models. I've understood all of the concepts like that you need to trade smart money concepts. And I've been good at that. I've been able to double back testing accounts multiple times. But like I've that's not enough. Clearly, like being good at trading, being good at the skill of trading is not enough because even if you're good, if you can't like manage your risk and actually have a winning plan and then have the discipline to stick to that plan, you're never going to see consistent results. You're going to do what I did, which is just I'm like all the time I would have like one or two good really good weeks, maybe even a whole good month, and then where I'm staying disciplined, I'm following my rules, I'm managing my risk, I'm taking great wins, but then always I would end up having 1 or 2 days where I just go into the day, I take some dumb impulsive I make some impulsive decisions, I end up taking some dumb avoidable loss, and then that just ends up spiraling me down, and I just try to make that money back. I start revenge trading, I start over leveraging, and then I just blow the account, blow all of my progress in minutes. Like I've literally blown months of progress in seconds before, and it's not fun. Like, and if you're someone who's doing that right now, like I'm telling you, it doesn't work. Like I was doing it for freaking 15 months. Like it does not work. You have to stop telling yourself that like, oh, I'll lock in once, whatever it is. Like once I pass this, stack of funded accounts, then I'll lock in. Once I get this payout, then I'll lock in, then I'll start managing my risk. Then I'll start following my rules and staying patient. Like you're going to end up staying stuck in the cycle like forever. Like you're genuinely never going to get out of it if you don't stop it, if you don't break the cycle. Like, I mean, as cliche as it sounds, nothing changes if nothing changes. If you're doing the same thing every single day, you can't just expect the results to magically come. Like they're not going to. You're going to continue doing the same thing over and over and over again. You're going to continue revenge trading, continue over leveraging, trying to just quote unquote get back to where you were, and then you'll lock in and you're just going to end up digging the hole deeper and deeper and deeper. And there is no way out until you actually have the discipline, actually have the willpower to stick to a plan long enough for it to actually yield results. Like that was the issue with me is it's not that I didn't know how to trade. It's not that I didn't have a plan. It's that I was not giving my plan enough time to actually prove that it works. Because like I said, I would have a good couple weeks, maybe even a whole month, but then I'll just end up making impulsive decisions and then blowing all of that progress in a couple of minutes. And then you just feel like you're in a mental pit. That's it feels like it's extremely difficult to get out of that mental pit, and it feels like the only way to get out of it is just continue to overtrade, continue to revenge trade, continue to over leverage, and you just end up staying stuck in the cycle, like for an essentially infinite amount of time, because it will continue to go on forever until you actually break it. So, like I said, like trading, it's not like what is trading? It's having a winning system, proving to yourself that it's profitable, proving to yourself that it works, and then simply sticking to it no matter what. But if you don't stick to your system and you don't give it room to breathe and you don't give your plan that you have and your strategy, if you don't give it time to actually work and like prove that it's profitable over the long run, because you just end up blowing your progress every single time you take a loss, then you're never going to see results. Like I said, again, I've understood this strategy. I've been rather good at the skill of trading for over a year, but it's only been the last, 3, 4, 5 months, probably like 5 to 6 months that I've actually been making consistent results, because it's only then that I've started to actually like lock in and follow my rules and trust a process long enough for it to actually produce results. That is what trading is. Like I said, you're not gonna like you can't just get impatient and just like start forcing crappy setups because there's no good trades and like you're just trying to hurry up and make money and passive funded account or whatever it is, and then expect to just start making money. Like you have to make that strategy, build that plan, and then know that it works, prove to yourself that it works from back testing, and then stick with it long enough for it to produce results. But if you're just continuing to do the same thing over and over again, you're going to stay stuck in the same cycle, and you're genuinely like never going to get out of it. So yeah, just a little bit of yapping. I mean, if you're someone who's currently doing that, like stop. Like genuinely, what are you waiting for? Like just think about it. Like if you're anything like me, like all along when you've been doing this, you know that you are one day you're going to actually be successful at this. You're going to make this work for yourself, right? So with that being the case, you know that in order to do that, you have to stop doing the things that you're doing right now that are holding you back. You have to stop blowing up every time you take a loss. You have to stop just chasing every single loss that you make, right? So with that being the case, with you having that knowledge, like genuinely, what are you waiting for? Like stop saying to yourself that you're going to lock in once you do this. Once I get this payout, once I pass this account, then I'll lock in, then I'll start doing what I should be doing. Like I'm telling you, I did that for over a year. It doesn't work. Like you're going to stay stuck in that same cycle until you break it. So like if you know that the successful version of yourself is not doing those things, then why are you continuing to do them? Like genuinely, what are you waiting for? Like and I know like those first few weeks, that first couple months of like just sticking to the process, it's not fun, it's boring, it's hard, it's difficult. Like you're gonna feel like you're just completely stagnant and making no progress. But if, like I said, that's what trading is it's having a plan and sticking with it, trusting it, giving it room to breathe, sticking to a plan long enough for it to actually yield results. And like I said, like I've nothing about the way that I trade, nothing about the strategy that I trade has changed over the past like 6 months, but I've actually been making results over the past 6 months simply because I've stuck to my strategy long enough for it to actually give me results. Because I no longer revenge trade, I no longer over leverage, I no longer blow through freaking $2,000 worth of top step accounts every week because I'm just patient. I wait for good setups, and every single trade that I take fits the criteria of my strategy. And when I always manage my risk, and if I take a loss, then I don't crash out and try to make that money back because I simply recognize that it's, like I said earlier, it's part of the statistic. It's part of the, 3 out of 10 trades that have to be losers, like this trade today that ended up losing. Like I'm not like looking at this number, oh my gosh, I'm red on the day, and then just absolutely tweaking out, taking 8,000 more trades and then blowing the account. Like I don't care because this fits my criteria. This is my model. This is my strategy. But like I said, trading is a game of statistics. This is simply one of the 10, one of the 3 out of 10 that has to lose. So that is what I'm viewing this as. I'm not emotionally attached to the number. I don't care about whether I made $6,000 like I did yesterday or whether I lost $500 like I did today. As long as the trade that I took fits my criteria and I manage my risk, that is all that matters. Because I know that if I stick to this strategy in the long run and I continue to follow my plan, I will guaranteed be profitable. How do I know that? Because the strategy has a proven win rate, because I've spent multiple thousands of hours backtesting it. I've literally taken thousands of trades backtesting over the past decade of price action, this model right here. And I know that it works because I've seen it countless times, and I've taken hundreds of trades in the live market with this exact strategy, and it has a high win rate. I know that it works. So if I just make sure that every single trade that I take fits the criteria of this model, of this strategy, and I manage my risk, and I'm patient, and I wait for good setups, and I'm disciplined, and I don't crash out, and I don't overtrade, and I don't revenge trade, if those are all the things that I'm focused on every day, instead of this freaking number, instead of focusing on the P&L at the end of the day, if I'm focused on the right things, I will be profitable in the long run. And that is the mindset that you need to have. That is how you are going to get to where you're trying to go in trading. It's not by, like, guess what? You're not going to get to where you're trying to go by full porting your freaking account. You're not going to get to where you're trying to be by using 50 micros on a 50K funded account. You're going to get to where you need to be by building a plan, having a strategy that you know works, that you know is profitable, and then sticking with it long enough for it to produce results. You have to trust the plan. You have to trust your process. You have to trust that time will catch up. Like I said, those first few months that you break the cycle it's going to be difficult those first couple weeks, but like after maybe a month or a month and a half, 2 months, it's going to be so relieving, because you're not going to, like, if you're anything like me, like I know what it's like to freaking go to bed at night, like, and like you kind of have that feeling in the back of your head that, like, you don't even want to get up and trade the next morning because you know that you're just going to end up blowing up and losing all your accounts. Like, I get it. Like, it's obnoxious, and like I know what it's like, but if you can stick, like, dude, just stick with your freaking plan, stick with the process, and you will see results. If you now, obviously, like what I'm yapping about right now, this applies to you if you actually understand the strategy. If you're completely brand new, like, what you need to do first is master your strategy. Like, that's the first part. Like, that's the first step. And I mean, a lot of traders think that, like, that's the hard part, is like understanding, like, dude, that, trust me, understanding the market, understanding how it moves, understanding where to enter and exit, that's the easy part. Like, you are the hard part. Yourself is what is going to hold you back in trading. It's your own impatience, it's your own lack of discipline, it's your own, greed, and it's like, I mean, that's literally it. It's your own FOMO, and you just can't wait for good setups. You can't stop revenge trading. You can't help yourself, and that's what's going to keep you back. That's what's going to hold you back, is yourself. It's not the market. It's not that the market is too complex, because, like, this strategy works. Trust me. I mean, so once you understand it, like, you will be capable of taking good trades. Like, I mean, I'm 4 for 5 this week. Like, on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, I took one trade every day. All of them are winners. And then today I took this one trade that was a loss. Like, dude, the strategy works, but like, it's never going to give you consistent results if you're just blowing up every time that you take a loss. Revenge trading, and then, like I said, you're never giving your strategy room to breathe. You're never giving your plan enough time to actually produce results. So, yeah, I know I yapped a lot today, but just figured I'd get that out there to hopefully help somebody who was in my shoes, and the shoes that I was in 8 months ago, a year ago, because it's not a fun place to be. It is very difficult, and I know that it genuinely feels like, at times it feels impossible to get past that. But I mean, if you just lock in long enough to, you know, give your plan actually time to work, then you will see results. So yeah, lock in, quit revenge trading. Don't be weird. Don't use 50 micros on a 50K account. Manage your risk, be patient, take good setups, follow your plan.